Welcome to this edition of Park Hill In Depth. We are with our superintendent, Dr. Jeanette Coward, and our assistant superintendent for academic services, Dr. Jeff Klein. Dr. Coward, we'll start with you for our monthly update on our enrollment-based long-range facilities plan. An exciting part that we've been talking about is naming our middle school and elementary school. Now, by the time some of our viewers see this,
right,
our board will have decided on a name. There's a very important board meeting this week. But for now, can you remind viewers of the recommendations that our committees came up with?
Absolutely. And even before starting on those recommendations, I want to thank all the people that submitted names. We had over 750 names submitted to us, and the people that served on the committee did such a great job of going through those names, researching and identifying all the different criteria and making sure that when they came to the board, they really had provided some great names. And so, we've gotten so used to calling them elementary number 11 and middle school number 4, it'll take me a while to get out of that, but we're excited that right now the two names that we're looking at for the middle school, one of them is Hopewell and the other one is Walden. And Walden is for the area in that around that whole set around 56th and Northwood,
yeah,
where we are right through there. And then Hopewell is more of a overarching name for some Indian tribes, and we actually have some of their artifacts over by Lion Creek. And so it's an interesting piece that we have. It's kind of cool, though, this is unusual, that the elementary team also wanted to use Hopewell as an option for the board to consider. And then the other two options for the elementary would be Wacomas Trail and then Trail View. And so it'll be interesting to see what the board's final decision is on that. But it really will be nice to have names to start calling these schools. And then we'll start working the next step of getting mascots and colors and those things in place too. So we'll get the names in place this week, hopefully.
Very exciting. What other updates do we have for our long-range facilities plan?
We're just working through the process. If you're following along, especially on the middle school timeline we put out, we'll be doing some updates to the board this week on their process, on their transition team and how they're doing on their work. And then we're also, of course, looking at our administrative pieces. We do have an administrative opening right now just at the elementary level at Tiffany Ridge. And so we'll be talking about filling that position. And we were so pleased to name Kirsten Clemens as the permanent principal at Lakeview. And we still have not named for the new middle school yet. And so we're working on those processes and hope to have all of that done, no later than June of this year. So we're moving right along.
Thank you very much, Dr. Coward.
You're welcome.
We're also joined by our Assistant Superintendent for Academic Services, Dr. Jeff Klein, and he's here to talk more about the changes we're making to our curriculum and professional development. So Dr. Klein, talk to us more about some changes we're making with our academic services.
Yeah, well, Samantha, for the past few years, we've been working on closing the achievement gap, and we've put several strategies in place, including making a significant expansion to our summer school program. And we've also been auditing each of our educational programs to make sure that individually they're doing what they can to support closing the achievement gap. But more recently, we've really increased our focus on ensuring that our instructional programs are culturally responsive. And so we've been providing our administrators for the past year and a half, 2 years with some professional development on how to ensure that our classrooms are responsive to all the cultures our students bring to school with them. And then we have also been more recently working toward doing some classroom walkthroughs where we've got administrators walking through and observing teachers in practice and providing feedback related to cultural responsiveness. And this is an area where we're going to continue to work because we want to make sure that while we ensure that all students have appropriate access and opportunities regardless of their background, we also want to make sure that our students, once they're in those programs and in those courses, are as successful as they possibly can be and that we're responsive to their needs. And so this is an area that we'll be working on more as we go forward, and that I anticipate if folks will just hang on, there'll be plenty more to hear about of what's coming.
And Dr. Coward, why is this so important?
I think it's critically important for us as a district to have these conversations and to look at the conversations around culturally responsive teaching and to clarify kind of what that is also. Because as you look at our district, many people within and outside of our district think that we are really just, we look like we did in 1960, 1965. And the interesting part is we have over 70 languages within our community right now. And as we have that, we want to make sure that every student is given the opportunity to be highly successful. Whether it is your child or someone else's child, they all have the same dreams. They want them to all have the very best educational opportunities. They want them to all be as successful as possible in this life. They want them to be cared for and be included. And also our students also want them to be, we want them to be welcomed into our buildings. And so I don't want the conversation around culturally responsive teaching to think it's simply about race, because that is not the answer. It is really about us as people and how we do things. And in Park Hill, it's so important for us to maintain our high academic standards and the expectations for high expectations for all students. And so that really is what we're talking about as we move forward. So we're excited about this because we think this really will help us address the achievement gap, but also improve our instruction for all of our kids. And we're very excited about that as we move to the future.
Thank you very much, Dr. Coward, and thank you, Dr. Klein. If you have more questions or would like more information about our academic programs or our long-range facilities plan, visit our website at www.parkhill.k12.mo.us. With Paul Lewis behind the camera, I'm Samantha Fitzgerald, and we'll see you next month for another edition of Park Hill In Depth.